When Shiv left the port, the captain was told that the weather ahead was absolutely clear. There was a possibility of a storm, but you need not take it seriously. By the time the storm reaches there, you would have left from there. But after a journey of 26 hours, when Shiv reached the middle of the ocean, the captain came to know that he had been given wrong information. He had been deceived because he had reached in the middle of the storm, and by the time he came to know the truth, it was too late. 33 crew members were trapped in the Alpha ship disaster. The disaster of the world is the world's most horrific and inexcusable disaster in history. The cargo ship capsized, killing all 33 people on board, sinking of the cargo ship, sinking the American cargo ship. The story began today, just 9 years ago, on September 29th, 2:15, this place is USS Jacksonville. At 6 in the morning, an American cargo ship Alpha is preparing for its 2-day journey. This ship was about 141 meters long and has been loaded. 341 shipping containers and 294 cars. Crew included Captain Michael Davidson and 32 other people. A total of 33 people will be a part of this today. The captain has around 24 years of experience in such a ship. That means Michael had experience. This ship was going to leave from here to San Juan. After the loading was complete, the ship departed at 10 minutes past 8 in the morning. Today the whole day was absolutely fine. At this time, the route the ship was going to follow would have very few storms, etc. Before leaving, they were informed about a storm. But they did not need to worry because that storm would be on their way, several hundred miles away. The first 24 hours were absolutely fine. Everything was going according to the plan. The next day had arrived, that is, September 30th, 1921. On the morning of the second day, the captain was informed about the message from two sides. The first was from email, while the second was a satellite report. It said that you will pass near a very big storm. According to the data so far, there was no danger, but still they should always be on the storm. This continued till 2 o'clock. The captain got a new update about the storm in the morning. Since then they were on the way. After 2 o'clock they came to know that the storm is near them. Whereas this should not be the case. Next the captain has to decide what they should do, whether they should continue like this or change the route. After 2 o'clock the captain started getting information about the weather every moment, because till now all the ships and boats around him were moving away from that point. Even though it was towards a storm, the captain was worried about one thing, that just this morning we were told that we are miles away from the storm. Then how did we reach so close to the storm? Whatever it is for now, but the other companions started getting scared. She asks the captain then, in which direction should we go now? Without any delay, the captain orders that the ship be taken towards the southwest. As soon as the captain reaches the control room, his other companion Daniel Rand informs her mother through email that we are headed towards a storm. We often see that the vehicles on the road do not take much time to take a turn. They complete this process in a few minutes. We finish it in a second. But when the same situation happens with a ship, it takes hours to take a turn. The same was going to happen with the ship later. On the captain's orders, the ship turned towards the south instead of going straight. In this way, they kept trying to get away from the storm the whole day. The day passed and night came. The ship kept moving for about 6 hours in the darkness of the night. Around 1 o'clock. It was somewhat normal, that is, the time has come for October 1st. But after 1 o'clock, the ship had difficulty in the sea. It started feeling uncomfortable among the high waves. It was difficult to see far at night, but looking at the situation near the ship, it seemed that they were not going away from the storm, but were going closer to it. By now the waves of the sea had become 3 to 6 meters high, while the speed of the winds was 100 km/h. The captain and the rest of the crew members were busy tracking the weather behavior every moment. According to the information given about the weather the previous day, they should be very far away from the storm. But nobody knows how the storm reached so close to them so quickly. It started moving so fast amidst the high waves that it became difficult to stay there. The second officer was on night duty. Seeing the changing weather, He immediately informed the captain, who was sleeping on the lower deck at that time because it was his duty. As soon as the captain got information about the changing weather in the morning, he started finding out the truth. When the weather report was seen, it was found that it was very close to the storm. Till now, they had gone south at a regular distance from their path. But as soon as they came to know that it was very close to the storm, the second officer turned the ship completely towards Bahamas Island. In normal weather, turning the ship like this is safe to some extent, but doing so in this weather could prove to be dangerous. But whatever it is for now, they were already heading towards danger. That is why it is very important to turn the ship suddenly like this. By this time, information about the weather was being given every moment from the port. They were in contact with the ship every moment. It is being told that Shiv is very close to the storm. The crew is trying their best to keep it towards the south as much as possible, but still it will not be easy to turn the ship so quickly. As the captain was the most experienced among these 33 crew members, he was being asked what decision should be taken next and what kind of steps should be taken. The captain has dealt with such problems before. Like every time, this time also it seemed that we will come out of this problem. We do not need to panic so much. But the rest of the crew members were still nervous, and after this the captain felt something that made him lose his senses. He realized that a storm is happening, and without delay the captain took this situation seriously. Seeing the high waves of the sea, he told the rest of the crew members to maintain the ship's speed. How did this happen suddenly? Till now no one knows anything. Even though the weather was good outside, still the ship should not be moving normally. How this would happen was also revealed the very next moment. The crew present on deck number 3 informed the captain that water was filling up in deck number 3. They were already facing the storm present outside. No one knew from where the second problem came, and without delay everyone gathered here to find out from where the water was coming. They started running in that direction. After a while, when the ship's chief reached the third deck running, he saw that water was entering the ship from an opening. There is a small opening in the ship which has enough space for a person to pass through. The first thing to do here is to close it somehow. If it remains open for a long time, the lower deck will be filled with water. As soon as the captain came to know the truth, everyone got scared, because even if they close the inner door, it will be difficult to close the part from which the sea water is coming in. The captain planned to first close this inner door and then close the outer door. The captain asked the chief present near this door to wait there, but the chief said that this door has already sunk in water. It is impossible to close it until it comes out of the water. The captain found the direction from which the water was entering the ship and turned the ship in the opposite direction using the engine. As soon as he did this, all the water went from this door to the other side. In this way, the chief got a chance and shut down the cutlass. They had just come out of one problem when a new problem arose. The engine room started getting signals of the main engine. There could be only one reason for the main engine being on, that is the oil fresher. Whatever is happening with the ship's engine after reaching the middle of the sea, it did not start after reaching here. The mistake started before it left from here. Actually, when all the vehicles were being loaded on the deck, the cars on the deck should have been tied with welded fasteners. But not even a single car in that row was welded, rather the cargo hold was tied with 2 chains. Doing this was not at all safe, because no matter how tight both the chains are made, it will still move, that too when many cars are tied to it. Because this will later become the reason for the engine being on, as it was unstable due to being tied with 2 chains, so when the high waves of the sea were shaking the ship, all the casks were also moving along with it. During this time, when there was more load on one side, the ship started tilting. The ship became so bad that the sea water reached up to the third deck where there was no AC closed properly. Water started filling inside through that. By now the rest of the crew had also come to know that the ship was getting filled with water. To find out, the captain ran towards the third deck. After that, he did as the captain told him to do, and in the end the captain's plan worked. The captain succeeded in closing this AC. Even though he had closed this AC, he was still afraid that water was coming inside. He tried to find out from everywhere that where was the water entering the ship. In spite of his best efforts, he could not find the point from where the water was entering the ship. Actually, the water was not entering the ship from any hatch, but from a pipe. Actually, when the water started entering the third deck, there was a sensation at that time. As soon as this happened, it became uncomfortable. At the same time, the cars on the lower deck, which were tied with the help of 2 chains, were repeatedly shaking. They were moving from their place and hitting the pipe next to them, which created a hole in the pipe. As there was already water there, water started filling from this pipe. Within no time, the water in the lower pipe got filled to such an extent that the tilt became 15 degrees. On the surface, the 15-degree tilt of the ship may not seem like a big deal, but in reality, it had a huge impact on the ship. As soon as this happened, there was a problem in the live oil system. Oil did not reach the engine for lubrication. As soon as this happened, there was a problem with the oil fresher in the engine, and what was to happen next? The propulsion stopped working. It means the engine has stopped while the water is still filling in the lower deck. 15 to 18 degrees in no time. In this way, as the water kept filling in the ship started tilting to one side. Pumping was also started to take out the water, but as soon as the engine stopped, the electricity also got cut. Seeing the ship moving to one side like this, the captain still hoped that we can move forward and the ship can be saved from sinking, and there was a lot of work to do so, because if it stays at one place like this, then no one can stop it from sinking. At the same time, another bad news came that they have come inside the storm. The captain again started finding out the truth, because he was told that he was miles away from the storm. By the time the storm would reach him, he would have left from there, and a big mistake happened here. Actually, when they were informed about the weather, this update was given in 2 ways. First was through email, and second was through satellite report. The information given about the weather in the email was about 6 hours old. While the satellite report was absolutely accurate, here the captain used the email only because email was easier than satellite report. Due to this small mistake, the captain came to know that the storm was miles away from us, but in reality the storm was very close. The captain wanted to forget all the mistakes made till now and start the engine somehow so that people could be saved, and actually they did not have much time now because the water was getting bigger and bigger. The level of the sea water had reached the 3rd level where the water was already open. Now water started coming in from there also. In this way, now the captain had no other option but to call. He asked for help from the Coast Guard that now we cannot save the ship from sinking. Water kept filling in the ship. Even after calling for emergency, they were planning to restart the engine by fixing the oil pressure. All the crew members wanted to try till their last breath. Their last hope of survival by restarting the engine could not be fulfilled despite all efforts. The breaths of 33 people were lost in the lap of the sea. At this time the Coast Guard received the last signal. At this time it was 7 in the morning, that is, whatever happened. It happened between 1 o'clock in the night of October 1st and 7 in the morning. After this, several attempts were made to establish contact with the ship. Initially, they thought that perhaps we are not able to establish contact due to the weather, because when the ship started filling with water for the first time, we were able to stop it. This information had also reached the Coast Guard, so they did not expect that something bad would have happened to the ship. They waited till the first day, but when 24 hours were completed, the time came on October 2nd. In such a condition, the ship was declared missing. After this, the search started by the United States Coast Guard. After a month of hard work, on November 1st, a submarine reached that sunken wreckage, which was 4 to 5 kilometers below the sea floor from the base. After another year of hard work, a watertight capsule was found. It was found in which there was a VDR, i.e. the data recorder, in which everything that happened on that ship was recorded. The entire recording was of around 26 hours, i.e. from when the ship left the port to where it sank it took 26 hours to reach. It was only after listening to the entire 26-hour recording that we came to know what exactly happened on the ship that day, because none of the 33 crew members survived in this accident. All of them were killed. But when it sank, 24 years before that, a prisoner who was serving a sentence of 19 years tried to escape from the jail. He did this job so swiftly that even the jailer had no clue about it, about which it has been discussed in this video. Till then, enjoy. See you soon. Thanks.